Hey everybody, this is Toby with Global Integrity Finance. We're here at the Quest Trust Expo here in Houston 2019, and we're here with Kaylee, the apartment queen.
Yes.
And so we're going to talk to Kaylee today about who she is, what she does, and talk to us about the apartment queen and what you do with apartments and how that works.
So really, as far as apartments go, we just have a value add structure that we use. So value add, if you don't know what that means, basically we're buying something pre-existing. It's already cash flowing, meaning there are tenants, it's full or somewhat full, 90% plus full, I guess, like you could say, or occupied. And then we find little things that we can change in the apartment, like changing cable contracts, switching out the unit fixes and increasing the amount of rent we can charge every month. A lot of different little fixes we can make. It's got good bones, but all those little fixes, I mean, based on a cap rate or capitalization rate of the property, that gives us a huge exponential increase in value. So then we look to basically flip it, if you will. 12 to 48 months has been the track record, but it will be a little bit longer now, possibly with the cycle coming, to double the income and the value of the property and then sell it again.
So let's talk about that. So you're finding an apartment that's already active with leases. Are you guys rehabbing it? Or what are you doing to improve the value to be able to get any kind of rate of return?
So like I mentioned, little things like changing out cable contracts, renovating the units. So if we do have a few vacant units, we'll add, depending on what class property we're buying, it's usually C plus, B minus property.
Okay.
So it'll be like putting in a new countertop and then changing out to vinyl plank flooring and then repainting with a two-tone color and then putting in nice fans.
So you are upgrading them, basically.
Yes. And we do need to, otherwise there's a lot of slumlord. I don't like to increase rents without giving the tenants something. Plus we also improve the actual property. So, you know, if we find there are a lot of families, we like to put in like little kiddie parks and add like benches and grills and pergolas and things like that. So the residents actually get to enjoy.
So you are going there and really improving the environment, and then you put it back on the market.
Well, kind of, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
So how are you finding these deals?
It's random. Really, so far it's been through relationships. I mean, whether it's a banker I work with or a broker I work with or, you know, an SEC attorney, or because we do have, these are securitized offerings, so we do register our offerings with the SEC. And when we do these things, those people are friends of ours now. And so then I'm like, hey, you know, if somebody is falling out of contract, they can't close, they can't finish due diligence, whatever, let me know and I'll buy it, you know.
Nice.
So that's how they started. And then some of them, it's like we happen to have the neighbor in one of them where they, it wasn't a probate case. It was actually, the apartment was in a trust, and then the mother passed away and the son was running the apartment into the ground and noticed I was buying next door, and so like, hey, I'm like, okay, I'll look at the numbers and see if it's good. And so that happened to be a good property as well.
So do you have a niche, like 10 units to 20 units, or do you have a demographic, 60 plus units? That's where the numbers are operated?
That's where it makes sense to have a full-time maintenance staff, full-time property manager, and basically be able to build that into the operating income of the property.
And if it's less than 60 units, it's just not, the profit's not there?
It's not economical.
It's not economical.
Yeah. So you could do it, but it would just take too much of the profit to make sense. It's really something, you know, when I have done third-party management on the smaller property, 50 units, less than that, we just have someone part-time in the office.
Gotcha. So when you take over the deal, you have a management team that you put in place on this project, and they're taking it from where you start to where they finish. That's their job.
Yeah, each piece of the puzzle has different people responsible for different duties. So the property management company, I mean, they're literally 50% of how well the deal goes.
Okay.
So it's really important to have a good partner in that sense. They have a track record. You've worked with them before. So they do all this stuff as far as lease up, evictions, I mean, increasing rents, I mean, all the pro forma plans. So I sit the whole team down and I say, okay, construction capital expenditure guys, you're going to do this month 1 through 12. Each month we go through everyone's jobs. Property managers, you do this. You know, I do this. My partner does this. So we all work it.
So and how big's your team?
It's deal to deal right now.
Deal to deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you bring a team on for each project.
Yeah, so we have our basic, you know, property managers and attorneys and all the pieces of that puzzle that you need, right? But the smaller deals, it was just myself and one other female partner on 2 of those, and then the next deal, it was 48 unit that was 4 of us, and then a 236 unit we just closed in Phoenix that was 4 of us also.
So you're doing this nationwide.
Not necessarily. That's not what I was looking to do. It was just I'm searching in Texas. That's all I focus on because we have so many things going on with rent control on the East Coast, West Coast. I'm like, come on to Texas. It's landlord friendly, tax friendly. It's a great state, to be a landlord. But that Arizona deal just popped up with a team of fellas that have like a great track record. And after vetting the deal and going through the numbers and all that, I mean,
how many
there was
deals
only
have you done?
one problem that I saw, and it was fixable.
How many deals have you done?
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 on my own as key principal or general partner, and then is this just an interview? Like I don't know where to look. There's like 3 cameras.
Yeah, just talk to me. Yeah, this is our volume down here.
So what did I say? 4 on my own,
4 on
and
your
then 3 before with a mentor, where I was basically a limited partner learning.
Okay.
So he just was like, yeah, this is how we renovate, go through the units, this is how we order in supplies, this is how we time everything, this is the price range you want to do for every whatever. All
Nice.
stuff. Yeah.
And how long have you been doing this, Kayla?
It's my 2nd year.
This is your 2nd year.
Yes.
Outstanding. What got you into this niche of real estate investing?
Right. I knew I wanted to invest when I was younger, and I just didn't know what that looked like because like my whole family is like, hey, we work at Dairy Queen and like work for other people, and like we have no idea what anything is. So, but I just didn't know. So, long story short, my buddy was like, hey, you have this other business that you're running. If you want to scale it, you need people, systems, advertising. You need more money. And I wouldn't suggest go take a loan out for your business. Get into real estate, get into selling residential, sell 5 houses, use that income to run that business. Well, I don't go into anything half-assed. So I just was like, oh, I love this. And then I realized in real estate there's so many niches. I mean, notes, apartments,
single
flipping,
family, fix and flip, buy and hold. I mean,
so I did some single family fix and flip. Ended up turning that one into a rental. I just had such a bad experience with the contractors. I was just like, and I thought everything was planned out and timed right with the bank and draws and everything. They still screwed me. I mean,
but do you not have that same fight with your apartments? Why?
No.
Why is that different?
The contractors are just so much more professional because it's a small industry, and like in single family, I feel like a lot of people can hide. There's so many people doing it. And in multifamily, you have to have the right size crew. Like my first company that I use for renovations, they've got 50 guys ready to go at any time. And like if I have a whole floor that's vacant, they can do it in 2 weeks.
They can go in there, and they've got more stability in that.
Yeah, and the economies of scale is the other cool thing about multifamily, not just people, but materials. And so you can just, you have 50 roofs or 50 houses in one roof, and you can just order in bulk, save money, get it all done.
Countertops, paint, flooring, all that stuff. You're just knocking out, track homing it on each floor.
Yeah, exactly. So what got me from, I was flipping houses to multifamily, there was someone speaking at Propelio actually, before I was speaking on their network, and his name's Bill Crozier, and he spoke at the end of at the end of the night, and his deal was like $780 million AUM under 8 years or something else. That is me in 5 years, right there. Because the culture of my business, the bottom line, and what like my why is a lot more important to me. And the flipping houses was investing, and that why was still there. But I knew it was going to take me a decade or more to get to that place where there was enough income, there was enough physical space to give back to people to do what I wanted to do. So I just saw that this was just adding another zero. You know what I mean? It would just get there faster, and it's really what he preached. And that why, as far as the culture of my company, there's 2 different things that we promote or that we work for in the community. Creating independence, so being able to help people identify toxic codependency and be able to give them a way out. Real estate was my way out of an abusive family relationship that I had forever, and be able to start over. And then also changing the face of multifamily. There are not enough female operators, brokers, in commercial period.
You're absolutely correct, and you have basically taken this niche and you've run with it. I mean, I've known you for about 2 years, and you are all over the place with it, and you are very pronounced, and you're very driven. That's one thing that I will say about you. Where is the multifamily industry going?
It's slowing down because we have an impending cycle coming, right? So, for us, we have to buy super smart. Like, don't stop buying because that will cause a recession.
Right.
It's our American duty to buy, to go shopping.
Right, we got to keep the cash flowing.
Right, otherwise the economy shuts down. We can't freak out. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch Fox News. I don't. It's just gloom and doom,
Good. Yeah.
So in reality, there's economists that I follow and I'm friends with, and those are the people that are like, okay, this is, look at 30 years ago, this is how this really works. Look at where we're at in the cycle, here's where we're really at. So we buy just very cautiously. So we do a lot of stress tests before we purchase. I underwrite probably 100 deals a month before I can find one that might be worth an LOI.
That's great discipline.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not ever in love with something so much that I have to do the deal.
Right, it's all business, it's all numbers.
And
so when you're doing that underwriting, tell me about that underwriting process a little bit.
Sure. What do you want to know?
So I bring you a prop. I say, hey, this 70 unit over here isn't for sale. What's your first step you're going to do?
I need the rent roll and the T12.
Okay, so then you're going to look at the DSCR on it and see how it's debt servicing currently and where you're going to be going with it.
Part of it, yes.
Okay.
So the spreadsheet, I've got a hybrid that my mentor and I built from a couple different mentor groups, and we just were like, this is good from here, and just made our own.
Okay.
So really, there's several different tabs, like going through the market itself. So underwriting the market, I've got like a 4-step process that basically you take the delta or take the change over 16 years of crime, income growth, job growth. House value, several different deltas. You want to see if it's trending up or trending in the right way, right? Then that's a good market. We can move forward. Next tab is then taking all of the rent roll data and seeing where what the gross potential income is. All those numbers need to go into the spreadsheet. I don't want to get too much into the weeds because it really is. It's not fun. I don't love doing it. I actually have a partner now that
crunches the number for you.
Yes.
So you just turn it over and say, give me the data when it's all said and done.
And then I look at it, and then there's usually some tweaks I have to make based on the market. They don't know that market, and that's why I focus in Texas, because I physically know Lubbock and Dallas and Houston and San Antonio and Austin, like the reversion cap rate when we're on sale, because the way we buy, you plug all that stuff into there and you know what you're already going to sell at before I even put in an LOI. I know all the stuff, and if it makes sense. If it doesn't, then I can go back to them and say, let's tweak this price, let's do this, and if they're not willing, then peace.
At what stage of this process do you walk the property and see how much more money you got to put into it to get it to that maximum rent roll?
Yeah, so once we underwrite and then we get the numbers at the end that they look good, I like to see double-digit cash-on-cash returns for my investors. I like to see triple-digit on-sale returns for everybody. So when we're kind of in that range and the cap rate makes sense for the class of property.
Right,
so,
whether
so
it's
I don't
a
want to do a 4
C,
cap
or
with a C property. It's not stabilized, it makes sense. Then we would go ahead and I would communicate with the broker or whoever gave me the property and say, okay, what do you guys want as far as terms? What's important to the seller? Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's short closing, sometimes it's different.
Right.
And so then I would basically construct an LOI, and then before submitting the LOI, I have a couple of different capital, we call them CapEx, but like renovations crews. Those guys, like I love Heritage. They're all over Texas, San Antonio, whatever. I go,
they're everywhere that you can call them up and go.
I go, hey, can you guys go out to this property this week on Wednesday and walk it with me or someone else or whatever, and they can give us estimates on all of the exterior stuff. Because interior, based on what my materials cost, I already know what it will cost to flip every unit based on the square footage. So I build in money per unit times how many units for interior, but exterior is always the question mark. And in commercial real estate, brokers and sellers get really pissed off if you do what we call retrading. So in single family, it's totally normal to be like, we'll just get it under contract and find problems with retrade or make concessions to the purchase price later. No, they will cancel the contract. They're like, no, somebody else will buy it. You're such a pain in the butt. So here, that's why we do that first before we submit an LOI, so we know exactly what the roof is going to cost, the foundation, what's messed up. The stuff under the hood, we don't see that until we're in due diligence, but we make some assumptions for that.
What about mechanical?
Mechanical, so some of those things you can just see if you're doing a property tour. Like, I really hate chillers. Those things cost about $150K to replace, and you pretty much always have to replace them. It's a really inefficient
60 years old.
system. So 1960s-ish and older properties, they'll usually have those. So unless it's newer, I don't love them. But anyway, so you can kind of guesstimate, or not guesstimate, but assume we're going to have to replace it, build that in.
Build it in anyway.
Yeah, we know that's part of the budget. So yeah, those guys will go out there and know exactly what needs to be done on the outside. Because what the broker or whoever will say later is like, you can look and see the roof and you can see the foundation and you can see, no, we're not retreating that. You know? So so then they do that, then we submit an LOI, and then depending on how competitive the market is, what size the property is, we did some in a bigger area recently, so you go, my first couple, it was just to submit an LOI, gets accepted, because just me one other person, they liked mine better. PSA from the legal team, and then we go back and forth negotiating, and then we settle on something and move forward. But when it's a bigger market, you'll have like best and final, second best and final, and then maybe get the opportunity to buy it.
So how many deals do you submit an offer on? What's your ratio on submitting to actually getting?
So,
I mean, you said you look at about 100 a month.
It's not good, because I just pumped the brakes 2 weeks ago going, I am exhausted myself doing this. This is stupid. It doesn't make sense. I'm literally, I'm on CBRE, SBN, Greystone, Greysteel, all of the brokers lists for all their properties in the states that I want it. No, not Netloop.
You don't do Netloop?
But just private brokers that they're listing it. So they'll send me stuff every day because there's so many people selling right now, and it's just, I'm like, you know what? Everybody is looking at these. I'm nothing special.
That's right.
So it's just a waste of energy. So what I did was I was like, let's stop. I've got a partner that he's really good at being with people. I mean, he's really good at listening. And so we split up the time. We've decided to physically go into brokers' offices, sit with them, ask them what do they need, what's their goals, what's our goals, how can we work together. And so I've been able to get some first look properties that are not listed. So that's all I ask for now. Like I don't even.
If it's listed, I'm done.
Not that I'm done, but sometimes I'll look at it and the pictures. There's just not everything is value add now. It's not value add. If you look at pictures and there's some shag carpet, if there's some crappy colors on the walls, that's good. I'll go click on that and then underwrite that. But 90% of them are like already renovated, and they're like, hey, there's 3 units left. I'm like, that's not enough meat on the bone to do anything with that.
It's already at top value.
I want to buy it at 80 to 90%, of meat left on the bone, and then sell it about 60% after we've done a little bit of renovations. Because you want someone else to want to buy it, so they need a little bit to work with.
Gotcha. So you're never looking to buy and hold. These are all looking to buy and flip.
So right now, because it's either secondary markets or it's smaller properties, this one in Phoenix is the first big one I've ever done. So that one is a flip, but you never know what happens with that market. We have a 10-year long loan term, so if need be, we can hold, which is no problem. Because Phoenix can be cyclical. Or boom and bust.
Supposed to be the one moving fastest right now.
So we'll see. But that one could turn into a long-term hold play, and that's in the PPM, like all the investors know. They're okay with it because it's in a primary market, so it would be fine. They would never have a vacancy problem. But moving forward, what I want to do, the plan is on these smaller ones, the 24 unit, 26, 48, is to when we're selling, we're syndicated the deal with a bunch of Quest clients actually, and then some other individuals, and they let me be the operator. I make all the decisions, and they know what the choices are in the PPM, and they just write it and let it go. The option that we chose, 1031 exchange the proceeds from the properties into a larger one.
So keep rolling it up.
So you don't pay capital gains taxes, and then the larger we go, we're working on going closer to a big city. And then once we are, at more of a stable value, 4 or 5 cap rate in a big city, that would be a long-term hold play.
So is it just strictly apartments, or do you do condos, townhomes? None of that, just straight apartments. Why is that? What's the pros and cons on that?
You have to focus. Because
you gotta have one shot, right?
Yeah. Like,
can be shotgun approach.
I am so ADD, so squirrely. Like, it's really hard for me. But the amount of understanding, and I'm still learning stuff every day that just goes into this one category of stuff, like the different classes, the different markets, the different strategies, different lending strategies, debt types. I mean, family offices versus syndicating versus. I mean, there's so many different things I'm still learning that I've decided to just focus on one thing for now, and then. Inside that deal, going, okay, how am I different than everybody else? That's where the apartment comes in. I'm like, I'm the only woman that's like, I'm out there,
Right.
So, Yeah.
What about ground up? Why not go buy some land and develop it and sell it off that way?
Right now, so I do have a buddy, Dave, that I was with him and his partner Glenn in Austin last weekend, and they are starting to get into some of that.
Yep.
But they're being really smart about it, because right now, depending on how big the city is that you're in, absorption rates aren't favorable really, and then with the impending cycle, you could end up with a building that's 50% occupied and have to suck
That's
it up. Yeah. But what they're doing is they're building in areas of Austin that are right outside the city, so like kind of suburbia, but not where all the houses are, but anyway, so suburbia, I guess. And then they're building B class, which that's the deal is, so I love C class and B minus class because
you can bring those up.
Well, because no one's building them anymore.
Right.
There's
That's
high
true.
demand and no supply. So I'm going to always win because there are always going to be people needing workforce housing.
And affordable.
Right, people wanting to live there.
Yeah.
Blue collar, workforce housing. So with them, instead of building A class, which is what most people do when they do ground up stuff, is they're building B.
Okay.
So then they found some guys that can build it at $100K per door, which is like less than what you're buying in Austin.
Yeah.
Use the C class, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, wow, that's great.
That is
So
great.
they just feel confident based on that. They're able to command about $200 less than everything else in that same area. So like we will not have a problem.
Yeah,
being
that's
full.
great. What about,
I'm not comfortable with it yet, but I'm learning from
you
them.
and I both know the growth in Dallas has been amazing with Liberty Mutual, with State Farm, with Toyota, and all those large corporations coming in. Would that not be a market that you would want to jump on in your apartment world with the AB class apartments? Knowing that
new
demand,
builds
the
or
new build,
existing?
new construction. I don't think you're going to find any existing because most of those are going to be more like in the outskirts. I think anything that's going on right now to supply that demand of people moving in, it's going to be a B or A class new construction. Would you not agree?
So it depends on what area of Dallas, for example. Like Frisco's the anomaly. I still will sell a house for a friend here or there if I really like them because they respect my time and they know I'm busy. They know if I do open houses, I'm going to have another agent do it, or I'm going to sit there and underwrite while I'm sitting there at the house. You know what I mean? I'm not going to really be all in it.
Right.
And they're like, oh, it's fine. You're good. So the Frisco one, I had my ex-boyfriend's house I sold in 4 days. Because I drove everybody. But anyway, so that's an anomaly for a market just because, like you said, Toyota,
Little
McKesson.
Elm, Frisco, Colony, all those areas seem to be the place that you want to create housing, right? In your world?
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just scary because it is already happening.
Yeah.
For someone like me, I don't have a big family fund. I don't have a whole bunch of money. So right now I'm
Several
syndicating.
$billion ready to
Using
roll.
other people's IRAs, their educational savings account from their children. So if I'm going to do something, I need to know it really, really well. And I'm not going to take a risk.
Yeah.
I treat it as my money.
Good.
Like once it's in my account or whatever, the company's account, I'm like, that's my bank account. And would I really buy this? No.
Right.
Or
Good.
do I know this will work? No.
You don't have enough knowledge yet to jump
I've
into
had to
that
send
world.
back money on that last deal to people because we filled up real fast. But two, I was like, there's no reason for me to keep it. You need to reinvest that somewhere and make some interest off it or something. And
Let
don't
it
just
sit
let it sit.
dormant. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, I appreciate that. I'm like, yeah, how would I want to be treated?
Exactly.
But, so I'm not familiar with it, one. And two,
Gotcha.
One thing I saw when we did have, like downtown Dallas, for example, there was a whole bunch of supply of high-rise apartments going up. And across the street from each other and stuff, and all of them, because 2 years ago when I started in real estate, it was an apartment locator. So then I was placing people in those apartments. They were all 50% occupied, and so the buildings were struggling, and then, having to
And the
sell them
upkeep
off.
was not good.
It's so much supply, that it's really competitive, and so they can't keep it full. And that's the last thing that I want to do. So in Plano, they have built some high-rises, mid-rises, really by the Star Center and stuff in Frisco. So I'm sure those are doing well, but again, I don't know enough about
Just not
it
in
to
your
do
world
it.
yet.
Not yet,
So too soon.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Gotcha.
I was able to go with Dave and his partner to their planning and zoning meetings and go see how they're building
And be
the
educated on
infrastructure.
that.
Working on, what are we going to do for the mechanical, electrical, plumbing.
Right.
So I'll get there.
Good.
Not in a rush.
What's next on the horizon for Kaylee?
So my goal this year was to be involved in 1,000 doors as a general partner.
Okay.
So after closing my first 2 buildings at the end of last year and realizing it took me like 3 months to take down 50 units in 2 different buildings, and just the amount of stress that it was, I fundraised everything by myself. Like it was the most hard thing I've ever done in my life, honestly. And so after 4 months, I was like a little overweight and like depressed and super tired. And I was like, I can't keep doing this.
I don't agree with that, but go ahead.
Well, I've taken a vacation a week in Mexico about a month ago so I could recharge. But I was just like in hiding. I didn't leave the house for a while. I was like, I can't do this. So I knew I needed partners. I knew I needed to team up with
Couldn't
people.
do a one-man show.
Right. So that's kind of where I've turned my focus a little bit. So I find people that want to do the exact same thing as me, and they're open-minded, eyes wide open. Let's give each other criticism. They don't take any BS. They don't hide anything. We trust each other. So that's really the goal. So right now I'm going deal to deal, saying each deal that I've done is a different team. And so it's kind of like dating right now. And then if I really like them, that's who I'm going to keep sending these off-market deals I find to them and say, let's take this down together. And then we're like, boom, 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 boom. You got the money, you got the whatever. Right. So I'm just kind of waiting for the right team. But doing 1,000 doors this year, right now I'm at 326. So I'm not quite there. It would just really take probably two more 250s, to get close at least. And that's kind of what these guys I partnered with in Phoenix, that's what they're looking for. Nice. So we looked at a 365 unit, 356 unit in Lubbock recently. Wow. They didn't like it because they're super safe. But then my buddy Dave from Austin, we looked at it and we're like, we would just have to make sure there's someone local that's on the ground. And I said, I'm willing to be there every 3 weeks to go manage the manager. It's just a heavy lease up.
Gotcha. In Lubbock.
We would have to make sure, because it's only 70% occupied, we'd have to go crazy with the marketing, make sure everything runs real smoothly, attract the right tenants, because you don't want trash in there that's going to ruin the place and not pay.
Lubbock's a huge college town.
Yep.
So you don't want a bunch of college kids in there.
It's far enough away from tech and whatever community, it's fine. So because what we have to do is a bridge loan. So because it's unstabilized right now, we'd have to gung-ho, go crazy, getting people in there. Once it gets to 90% occupancy, then the bridge will roll into a Fannie or Freddie, depending on what we do, which is a non-recourse loan, stabilized. That's what everybody wants to be a part of. It's a little risky. So we're talking through right now, do we really want to do it, do we not? Because we've got a partner, or future partner, he's got a 1031 exchange, it's like a $15 million deal, and he needs to place it in the next 30 days. So we're trying to figure that out right now. So I'm like, okay, I'll find something this weekend. I'll keep asking and telling people, and
seeing what comes up.
Something will pop up, I'm sure.
Nice. How do people get hold of you, Kaylee?
Y'all can email me, admin@theapartmentqueen.com.
And a phone number?
Nope.
No? All right. So you can email her. If anything else you want to tell the audience about where you're going and what's so exciting about what you're doing.
Yeah, so really just keep your watch out for what the company culture is going to be doing. That's really, I think, that's what gets me out of bed every day and excites me. Multifamily and my why, they are in tandem with each other. But there's a few things I'm personally fighting through that I have been for years that are now kind of coming to a head, and I'm excited to talk about them and share kind of how I dealt with it and how I've been able to stay strong and stay focused through it, and hopefully be able to nudge other people to do the same thing, to not be afraid to go out there and go for it.
Now you have a radio show you guys are getting ready to launch, right?
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit real quick.
It's called The Drive. It's on KVGI Radio, and actually there's two. So KVGI Radio, it's me and another female, Brandy Miger. So it was her show, and I'm co-hosting with her.
Okay.
We actually do that in Frisco, Texas, and that's on. I think our next show is what's today?
Saturday, the 24th.
24th. So next one's on the 3rd, the day after my birthday.
Nice.
And then the 17th. So we do it every 2 weeks on Tuesday at 1 p.m. And then Jason Bible and I are getting back together again to do another show, because he's kind of quirky like I am, So so we're working on that right now, but that should be coming probably once I get back from Barcelona in about a couple of weeks to start that again. So that'll be, I don't even know on what channel yet, but again, just stay updated.
It'll be on our website. Yeah. Kaylee, it's been an honor and a pleasure to visit with you, talk about everything you do. And again, if you need anything, you can reach us at globalintegrityfinance.com, 214-548-5190. Thank you so much.